Hello, I'm
Hello.
Ashley Taylor with the Orange County Library System. We're at the Washington Park branch in Orlando, Florida, and today is Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2012. Capturing memories of our community. Please tell me your name and about where you come from.
Hi, I'm Debra Pate, a native of Orlando. I was born here at the time, Dr. Phillips Hospital, which is currently called the Guardian Care Center. It was at the time, it was the only hospital for people of color. I'm a fourth generation of the Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church here in Orlando. I was employed with the AT&T family for about 29 years until, as they say, the new word, downsizing affected me also, but truly a native of Orlando.
And what's one of your earliest memories of the Washington Shores community?
I remember Washington Shores Elementary School, and at the time it was going to be a new existing school that I ended up going to. It was Orange Center Elementary, which at the time it was in the portable buildings until we moved into our new location on Texas when I was in the third grade, as a matter of fact. I also remember in elementary school at the time on Fridays we used to get this little card, this little coupon, and we'd go to the movie theater. At the time it was the Carver movie theater for 5 cents. Or if you didn't want to go into the movies, you could go to the little snack window on the outside and get their little french fries and all the little fair food, as I like to call it, you know. I remember that. I remember the Beach and Theater downtown. At the time, blacks couldn't sit on the bottom. We would always have to sit up into the balcony. And I remember after desegregation, it was like, it always seemed so much more interesting when we were up in the balcony as opposed to being down on the floor.
Okay. And what was probably the happiest memory of your life?
I would have to say right now, the birth of my daughter, actually. So she's the 5th generation now to be born here in Orlando. That was one of the happiest. Graduating from high school was a great moment for me, too. My mom was the first to graduate in our family and go on to college, and I was the second one to graduate and go on to college. So for me, that was an achievement.
What was your favorite subject in school?
I enjoyed history, as a matter of fact. I enjoyed history. You know, if you know where you're coming from or where you came from, you have a better understanding as to where you want to go. And I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed Greek mythology also.
Does your family have a lot of history in Washington Shores?
My mom actually, she grew up here in Orlando. She went away to school. She came back. She taught at Jones High School, her alma mater. Afterwards, she taught at Phyllis Wheatley High School in Apopka, and she concluded her career at Stonewall Jackson Junior High at the time here in Orlando.
What was the most important memories or lessons you learned in life, either from your family or for those who were very influential to you?
To never give up, to always keep striving for what you believe in. Everyone might not agree with what you're doing, but if you have the confidence within yourself, you just really have to stay focused on that goal and try to achieve it. It might not come instantaneously, you know, but if you continue to work hard, eventually you will get what you want to get.
And how did that lesson impact your own life?
For right now, in losing a job after being employed for so long, it was a little down. I'm not going to pretend on that. But with my faith in my church and my God, I know that, you know, bigger and brighter things are going to happen for me. And I look at it as it was a time that I needed some rest. So it came when I needed rest and to be a better parent to my child. But I know bigger and better things are coming, so I don't stress about it anymore.
Is there a moment in your life that you can say you're the most proud of?
Just being here, you know, I've lost classmates, people that I grew up with through illness, fast life, what have you. But right now I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy that I was able to see the first African American president elected. You know, you would always hear, oh, that won't happen in your lifetime. And I have an aunt who's 102 years old, and she never thought she'd see that in her lifetime. So I'm really pleased with that.
What was it Washington Shores community?
It was a happy time, really. It seemed like everyone was doing well for themselves. Most of the people that I grew up with, they had two-parent homes. We all lived basically in houses as opposed to apartments. It was a time when you didn't really worry about your children as much. You would see children outside playing. Okay, you could go down the street to a friend's house. It was just a happy time for me.
Did you have a large family?
No, actually, I'm an only child.
And what about your own family now that you're an adult?
I only have one child as well. Single parent, but I'm very proud of my daughter.
How has the community changed over the years?
We've grown to a certain degree. It seems like people are more for themselves as opposed to being a cohesive unit. But then sometimes you see where some changes are starting to come along. In some of the organizations I'm in, especially my Elks family, we had a lot of older members, and now that we've invited the youth to come in, you just see growth. They want to learn, and they're doing hard work within the organization. So that lets me know to still be around for quite some time, and I'm really proud of that.
Are you really connected with your community?
Yes, I am. I'm involved with a lot of organizations. My church, for one, the usher board, and I work with our youth at our church. I have my Masonic family, the Daughters of Sphinx. I have my Elks family, and I'm really involved in the AMVETS auxiliary.
Can you tell me how those different organizations are involved in the community?
Well, they all help in a community service way, as far as giving to our elderly, our children. During school times, we do backpack drives, getting school supplies for the children. For the elderly, we sometimes do the goodie bags where, you're putting little personals in. For our veterans, because a lot of them don't have family, we go out to the domiciliary. We give them little cards so that they can call home to their family members, just little personal items in their goodie bags as well. Sometimes we'll go out and just play bingo with them, maybe have like a little picnic type setting, just a fun family type setting for the veterans, and that's really good for them.
You seem really involved in your local community. Have you traveled outside or lived outside of Orlando?
Yes, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee for 4 years. As a matter of fact, I went to Tennessee State University there in Nashville, so I was there for my 4 years.
And what brought you back?
I just wanted to be close to family, close to home. And that's why I came back. I figured if I'm going to make an impact, at least I would have an outreach of people who would know me. And, it's always good to know people. As they say, it's not so much what you know, but who you know that can get you advanced in life as well.
What was the difference between living, in Nashville and living here in Orlando?
The weather. I found out I am not a snowbird. It was much too cold. I love the warmth of Florida.
Is there anything else that drew you back?
As I stated before, my family. My mom, my grandmother, who was at the time still alive, and my great-grandmother also at the time was still alive. And so just coming home to be with family.
Who would you say was the most influential person in your life?
My mother. And also my aunt. My aunt, because, as I stated earlier, she's now, 102 years old. And her philosophy, she's seen a lot of changes, and she's always so positive. Her glass is always half full, not half empty. So with the things she's seen in life, if she can be so upbeat and full of energy, I figured I can learn from that and try to have that type of attitude if I can.
Is there any points in your life that you consider very influential? Any turning points that made you who you are?
Not at this time, no, Ashley.
Is there anything you wanted to still achieve in your life?
I'd like to be a small business owner. I'm not exactly sure what, but just to be independent, have a business of my own of some sort. Maybe even go into real estate. But the market's so down now.
Do you have any hobbies?
I'm a lazy soul, but I do walk. I have a walking partner. It doesn't seem to be paying off lately. but I like to do that, and I like being involved with the kids, working with the children.
Okay. How would you like to be remembered?
I like to be remembered as a person who tried and who was fair in my dealings.
Is there anything else you want to share with us today?
Happy Valentine's Day.
And you too. Thank you very much for coming in with us.
You're welcome.